Hello and welcome to the space, the place where we talk all things growth, change, and transformation. And we do that natural, spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional. I am Shawn Claxton, pastor, founder, creator of this space where we get to come together, we get to talk, and we get to learn of the things that help us each and every week to grow, to change, to develop, to evolve as we continue to embark upon this year and we continue to move throughout the year, I just wanted to remind you that the journey must continue. In spite of what you may be going through, in spite of the things that are happening around us, we have an obligation, and our obligation is to complete this journey. We don't get to stop doing life when life becomes challenging, when it becomes hard, when it becomes difficult, when we have mountains of concern, when things look dreary and we don't understand how we are going to see them. I want to encourage you today that the journey must continue. The press must continue. You pushing toward what God has placed you on the earth to do must continue. Our scripture today, Philippians 3:12 and 14 says, not that I have already obtained all this or have already arrived my goal, but I press on. So it is for us to continue the press of life, for us to continue to push, to run, to make sure that we complete our journey and we complete the journey well. One thing we have to realize is that the journey is not reserved. It is not reserved for people who never struggle. It's not reserved for the person that never goes through. It's not reserved just for when you are on the mountaintop. Yes, we have great mountaintop experiences, but we also have valley experiences. We have dips in life. We have lifing experiences. And we have to remember, even in the journey, we have to do the valley of the journey well. We cannot only want to live on the mountaintop. That journey into the valley teaches us, it fortifies us, it builds our character, it gives us stamina, it gives us the ability to continue to evolve and to change. So while you are in the valley place, make sure that you don't forget that this journey is for us to learn. The struggle teaches us to learn. The obligation teaches us. It fortifies us and it strengthens us. In spite of how we feel about it, there's purpose in the valley. There's purpose in the journey. There's purpose in the disappointment. There's purpose in the place that we call growth. So don't jump out. Don't quit. Don't forget that while you are on the journey is not just for you to walk through it and you don't know. In the end, you win. In the end, you overcome. In the end, and even in the middle, we are overcomers because we have God on our side. So let's dissect this and let's talk about a couple of the things that we may be going through and what can help us as we are transitioning and moving through the journey. In spite of the in spite of the delay, you got to keep walking. You have to resolve in your mind that you are going to keep moving. You are not going to stay still. You are not going to quit on this journey. In Habakkuk 2, I believe it's verse 3, after he tells us in verse 2 to write the vision and make it plain, he said that he may run that readeth it. You have an obligation to run after you see the journey coming to fruition. You can't just stop. You can't just quit. Even when you become disappointed, even when you become overwhelmed, that is the time you really have, as they used to say, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You've got to have a resolve down on the inside that for God I live, for God I die. I am going to keep pressing toward the mark. That is what we have to do. Delay is one of our greatest tests of faith. When we don't see where we are going, when we don't understand it, we must keep pressing forward. If we had a God that gave us everything, as soon as we asked it, would it build our faith? Would we have trust in him? Not necessarily. So when we don't always see him at work, that doesn't mean that he's not at work. It just means that he's doing a greater work down on the inside of us. And it often may feel like there's a delay, but he is working those things out in us. And we must stay faithful to the challenge, faithful to the call, knowing that he is working down on the inside of us. We have this generation. In our generation, we like things instantly. We like microwave and fast food. We need next day shipping, if not same day shipping. We love instant messaging. We love immediate answers. But if you live this life, you're going to learn that there are going to be times that things don't come instantly. They don't come as soon as you speak them. Even when the answer has already been sent, you may not hear it. It may not get to your ear gate right away. It is there, and we have to wait for God to work those things out in us, even when we live in a culture of speed. Our God moves at his timing. 1,000 years as one day feels like 1,000 years, but yet and still, it's all working out for our good. Teaching point number one: delay does not mean that God is silent. He is still working. I want to encourage you to know today that he's still working. He's still working on your behalf. He's still opening doors. He's still making ways. Habakkuk 2:3 says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it tarry, wait for it." If you have a vision, if you have a promise and you are waiting, your job is to wait. My job is to wait. My job is to stay faithful. My job is to continue to get into his word. My job is to continue to do what he's equipped me to do. Same with you. Your job is to continue to work it out, to continue to press, to continue to do the thing that you have been gifted to do, that you have been called to do. Even while you are waiting for continued clarity, you have to start. And then once you start, you have to keep working. You have to keep moving. Why? Because that is what we have been charged to do. One of the greatest misconceptions is that if we don't see God moving, that means that he's not moving at all. And that's not the truth. Matter of fact, it's the furthest thing from the truth. It's just like the seed. The seed is in the ground, but it doesn't mean that it's not growing. It's growing roots. It's being nourished. It's being fortified. It's taking the nutrients from the soil that is going to cause it to blossom eventually. But if it decided to get up out of the ground and come up and sit on the grass and say, forget it, nothing is happening, it would never morph into what it was designed to be, whether it was a flower, a tree, whatever it is that the seed was meant to be. It has to work in the soil and let the soil work it over. And we are the same way. We've got to let God work us over so he can continue to grow us, change us, develop us. We can't have leaves and fruit if we don't stay planted, meaning we can have no evidence of what is on the inside of us if we don't stay planted, if we don't stay grounded. If we get off of the wheel too soon, we won't see the evidence of what is down on the inside of us. When we think about the soil underneath, the roots are expanding. Its strength is developing. Life is forming, and it has to stay planted. So when the wind comes, when the rain comes, when the harshness of the sun comes, it has enough in it. The seed has enough in it to stay planted. So when it begins to bloom, the roots are so grounded that it can handle the roughness of the wave. It can handle the roughness of the season. It can handle the dryness of the season. It can handle the drought of the season. And that's what God is doing with us while we are on the journey. He is giving us enough fortitude that when life hits us and things come up against us, it doesn't pull us out of the place, but we are able to withstand the turbulence of life. We are able to withstand the trial, the situation, the obligation, the disappointment that life is going to bring. We can make it through when we continue to stand and allow him to minister through us. That is how God is working in our life, in our reality, and in our culture today. We have to make sure that our vision is continuously seeing the way that we need to see. We cannot lose our vision. We have got to stay on course, whether it's with our career, whether it's in our marriage, whether it's business or ministry, whether you're a social media influencer, whether you're a builder, whether you promote, whatever it is, our reality is we've got to stay the course of the journey. Do not allow the journey to take you off course. Everyone has a highlight reel. We all are making reels in our life each and every day. Situations are happening. We are growing. We are changing. We are evolving. We are developing. So you have to ask yourself, how is my highlight reel? Are there places where I just quit, where the reel just stops because I stopped pursuing the journey? Or am I still working? And is God getting glory out of each and every place of our life? God's delays, He keeps blessing us even in the midst of the delay. And we have to know that we've got to continue to rest in Him. If the blessing arrives too early, we may not be mature enough to handle it. We may not be mature enough to handle full-blown success. So what does He do? He gives it to us in increments. He builds us in increments. He puts people around us. He gives us mentors. He gives us wisdom. He takes His word and He plants His word down on the inside of us. And we take His word and we hide it in our heart, and we hide it so that we won't fall off. We don't want to fall in the season. We don't want to mishandle the blessing. We don't want to mishandle what the talent that He's given us. So while we are growing and changing and evolving, He is blessing us. Am I trusting God's timing, or am I looking at my timeline? Am I trusting God's timing, or am I looking at my timeline? I should have been further now. I thought this would have happened by now. I thought I'd be married. I thought I'd have kids. I thought I'd have the business. I thought I would have had more money in the bank account. And maybe we should have. But if all things are working together, if I don't have it, God, what's your timing? What's your plan? And let me rest in it. But let me make sure that I am still pressing toward the mark in the middle of your timing. And I am not just looking at the timeline of where I think I should be and how I think I should be doing this thing called life. And I am pressing toward the mark of the prize of the high calling, so that you can continue to grow me, so that you can continue to equip me for the journey. Teaching point 2, waiting is not wasting. Waiting is not wasting. So waiting in time is not wasting time. The Bible tells us in Isaiah 40:31 that they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. So when we are waiting, that is a place of renewal. Renewal. That doesn't mean we're not working. It doesn't mean we're squandering. It doesn't mean we're doing nothing. But we are busy still working. We are busy getting and learning more about Him. Waiting is not passive. Waiting is not passive. How do you know? When you are holding, if you are a female and you are pregnant and you have that baby, you're waiting for the baby to be born 9 months. But lungs are being developed, fingers and toes and fingernails and skin and lungs and eyes and ears. All of that is still being developed in the waiting process. So while we are waiting, we got to know that we still have to be developing spiritual lungs. Our spiritual eyesight is still being developed. Our ear gates are still being sensitive to the Spirit of God. We are still growing. He's pruning us while we are waiting. He's healing us while we are waiting. He's correcting us in the place of the wait. That's a good one right there. The place we call waiting. He's preparing us and He's aligning us. And we have to know that all that is happening while we are waiting. So if all of that is happening, we cannot afford to waste the place of waiting. I'll say it again. We cannot waste the place of waiting. We've got to be studying his word. We've got to be spending time with him. We've got to be changing and evolving. And waiting, it carries a picture. When you think of waiting, what do you do? Sometimes you're like, well, I'm just sitting here. No, but our hands have still been caused to do something. There's still things in our hands that have to develop while we are waiting. Many people are tired. They're tired, not so much from waiting, but they're tired from the place of do nothing. They're just sitting. I'm waiting for God. And God is saying, nah, I'm waiting on you. I've given you what you need. I've equipped you for the journey. You have to begin to take a step. You've got to do the things that I have challenged you to do. So they're waiting, and they're not waiting because they're doing too much. They're waiting because they're trying to force things. This walk, you don't have to force it. When we get into alignment, all things work together. You don't need forced relationships. You don't need forced opportunities. You don't need forced doors and forced success and forced healing. No, we need to let God continue to build us and carry us and work out those things inside of us. And he carries us with his grace. He carries us through. So we don't just have to keep asking him when and how and why and do. No, we have to get into the place where we are walking hand in hand in his rhythm, in rhythm with him. We are stepping with him. And when we are walking and stepping with him, he is working things out. God, where are you with me while I am in the wait? What do you need me to know in this season of waiting? What are you building in me in this season? What are you transforming in me in this season? What are you developing in me in this season? That is where we need to be. That is what God wants to see in our life. Make sure you don't confuse delay with detour. Sometimes when things are delayed, what do we want to do? We want to get off. We want to U-turn. We want to go back the other way. We want to try to go through, we want to take a different path. We must stay on the journey that God has placed us on. Joseph could have got off of the journey. God was doing something in Joseph. When he was in prison and the people were there, he could have decided, God, I'm not going to trust you. But he was a dreamer, and he began to interpret dreams, what? Even in the prison, when he was in the dungeon, and when he was in prison, his dream, because he continued to stay on the path, it got him a place before Pharaoh so he could share with him. He was able to share with the people, the baker and the butler, while he was in prison. So you may feel like this place I'm in feels like prison. But even if it does, what can you share in this place? How can you grow in this place? How can you develop in this place? And what is he trying to show you while you're in this place? Are you dealing with the place of rejection? And if you are you asking him to eradicate it? Are you asking him to pull it out of you? Are you asking him to show you the root of it? And then God, pull it up and let me get rid of it. Are you feeling betrayed? Are you feeling false accusation? Are you feeling forgotten? Or are you in a season of feeling like nobody cares about me? So God, here I am. I come bringing you all these feelings. And if you think about those feelings, they bring you a place of negativity. So God, I need you to pull them up, eradicate them, erase them from my life, because I don't want to detour in this season. I don't want to quit. I don't want to fall off. I don't want to miss this chapter of my life, because this chapter is pivotal. When God takes us through places and we feel like he has left us, that is a time for us to realize this is a pivotal place. There are things I need to learn in this place. I've got to pursue and to press forward in this place, in this space. I cannot fall off. There's so many things that we have to learn, and there's purpose in this place more than anything. This is a chapter of the book too. We have great chapters in our life of the happy places, of the places where we came out. But in order for us to come out on the other end, we've got to go through it. We have a beginning, but in order to get through the end, we've got to go through that place called the middle. And the middle sometimes will shake us up. The middle will make us feel like, oh my gosh, am I ever going to get through this? You can get through it. You can get through it. We have to continue to press toward the mark. We want purpose, but we don't want to go through. You can't get to purpose without going through. We want platform, but we can't get to platform without going through. Preparation calls us to get through that middle. You want influence? You got to be able to handle the influence. You've got to go through, and you've got to do it with integrity. You've got to do it with joy. You've got to do it with peace. There's a place of long suffering that even in going through, we have to make sure that we don't fall off the grid and know that we cannot detour. We have got to stay in the place because God's directives are the best directives, even when it feels like we are going through the place of delay. It's okay. Delay is causing us to grow because when we get through, when we get to the place, we want to make sure that we are well able to handle where He has allowed us to get through. So the journey and the place that you're in right now, it is not for the faint of heart. You just have to be willing to continue the journey, and you will say that it was good for me. It was good that I went through that space. It was good that He didn't give it to me too early. I didn't know that all this was going to be in this new season of life. But because God, you fortified me, you strengthened me, you took me through, you worked on my heart, you worked on my emotions, you worked on my feelings before I got here. Now, this new place, this has its own set of challenges. And because you were working on me from the inside out, I am able to stand. I am able to stand, and I can stand because you have strengthened me. The song says, you have strengthened my life. He has strengthened my life, and I'm never going back. When He strengthens us, when He fortifies us, when He brings us through, we don't have to worry about turning around and going back because He has created something new down on the inside of us. So we don't need to be in a rush to get through the next place, because this space and this place that I'm in right now is making me, it is preparing me for this chapter. It is preparing me for my God calendar. It is preparing me for what He is doing in my right now. My right now is necessary. Your right now, it's necessary. And when we stay in our right now, He continues to grow us. So I refuse to become discouraged because of delay. I want you to say it. I refuse to become discouraged because of delay. God's timing is not punishment. It is preparation. I refuse to become discouraged because of delay. God's timing is not punishment. It's my preparation. So I'm going to keep walking because what God has promised, it is still on the way. I want to admonish you to keep walking because what God has promised you is still on the way. Another point, in spite of disappointment, trust God's direction. In spite of disappointment, you must trust God's direction. When life doesn't go as planned, God is still writing your story. He is still creating your story. So you have got to stay focused so you realize that it is still on the way. Matter of fact, you are walking in it right now. This is a part of the story too. Even when it's hard, even when it feels like it is disappointing, even when you feel like there had to be diversion, it's still a part of the plan. Some things we self-diverted, and God is so great, He still uses them. He still uses it for His glory. Even when disappointment comes from the collision between our expectations and God's direction, He is still orchestrating our steps. Yeah, Collision does come. It comes between what we expected and what he does. Sometimes we say he has a sense of humor. Well, he does, because we can be planning for one thing and he will let something else completely happen. And you'll be like, I wasn't expecting that at all. But it's okay, because he knows the path in which we take. And when we come forth as what? Gold, pure gold. So we have an expectation in him, in him. Expectations can be also, they can be emotional traps. So we have to be careful that we don't get caught up in the emotion, and we have to trust him, as Proverbs says, with all of our heart. We have to set our heart posture toward trusting God, toward leaning in him, into him with our own understanding. Our understanding has to be in him. We've got to make sure that when disappointment comes, that we protect our heart valve. Yes, you can feel it, but we got to go back to the Father so we don't become bitter in our heart, so that we don't let things fester and set up in our heart, but so we could stay on the path, because we don't just want to run. We don't want to, excuse me, run bitter. We don't want to run limp. We don't want to run dragging our legs and saying, I'm just going because you said this is what I should do. No, we want to run this race knowing that he is the author and the finisher of our faith, and there is something great that is set up for us in the end. And I don't just want to wait to the end to experience great. I want to experience it in the journey now. And so when things come, and they throw us off course, God, what you need me to learn from this? What can I take away from this? How can you build me and grow me and develop me in this? Because I want it to be a part of my journey, and I want to do the journey well. I want to do the journey well. Don't you want to do the journey well? We want it to be well with our soul. So sometimes we paint our own picture, but the picture that God has for us is so much different. And if he is our author of our beginning and our end, doesn't it make sense to seek him about the picture? Many of us can say, this isn't what I expected. This is not the direction that I thought it was going to take. I thought I'd be X, Y, and Z. Yeah, we did. All of us. But since we're not, what do you need me to see? How do you need me to grow from this place so I can give you glory and I can be the best footprint in the life today, in my life today? So we've got to know that even the disappointments may be evidence that God had a different destination in spite of what we had. In spite of what we had or how we imagined it, he is still working it out. And so it is so important that we continue to rest in him. And we remember that the journey must continue. If you're sick, the journey has to continue. But while you're on the journey, you can claim and you can speak to your body and you can speak healing. If you are looking for a different career path, your journey must go on. If you are struggling with financial disparity, the journey must go on. If you are expecting various blessings and miracles, the journey must go on. You cannot quit in the middle of the journey. You cannot change your mind. You can, but it won't be beneficial. The journey has to continue. You have to allow him to continue to do the work down on the inside of you. For our God, he is faithful. He's just. He's kind. He's true. He's going to stand right in the middle of the journey with us. Right in the middle of the journey with you. Sometimes you have to take your tissue, your towel, you've got to pack your face and dry your eyes. You have to feel the shift, and then you got to shift with it. Why? Because he is continuing to do greater things down on the inside of us. Our God is faithful. He is just. He is kind. He is true. And when we trust him, we can rest in him no matter what. So I come to you today sharing that the journey must